All right, somebody's got to still tell me, how is it possible that Joe Biden is giving $6 billion to the Ayatollahs in Iran? Joining us now to talk about that and a few other things is great Alabama senator and great friend, Mr. Tommy Tuberville. Senator Tuberville, you know, there's a principle, an economic principle here. Money is fungible. So they think they're giving Iran money for humanitarian purposes. And I'm here to say that money is fungible. That money will go to terrorism in the Middle East, killing Israeli soldiers, killing American soldiers, helping all our enemies. I mean, the Senate doesn't vote on this. They just go on ahead and unlock assets. What is up with this, Senator Tuberville?
Larry, where does the madness stop? It just seems like every day something's going on. The number one state of terrorism. It's just absolutely amazing to me. Joe Biden just lit a match to the Middle East. Israel has got to be on alert. They're so close to getting a nuclear weapon, it's scary. Even if they might already have it. But he just keeps sponsoring problems across the world. Solve some problems here before you continue to send money every other place. But it's madness, Larry. You know, today we were in a luncheon, and for the first time I've really heard what was going on in this Biden, Hunter Biden and Joe Biden scenario with the problems. We don't worry about that too much in the Senate. They've been handled in the House. I've never seen such evidence that they've got, and it looks like that they're just trying to take the heat off them by doing crazy stuff all over the world and in our country also. So this makes no sense. It's madness.
You know, I think they're getting closer again to a big deal with Iran. I think they are. It's nutty. It's as, you know, it's as phony as a $3 bill, but that could give Iran a couple of $100 billion. And they're going to try to dodge the Senate's advice and consent on a treaty. They're going to try to go behind your back, just like they went behind your back on this $6 billion, saying they were unfreezing assets. What the heck? They can't do that. Somebody's got to stand up in the Senate and scream bloody murder.
You're exactly right. And, you know, with no oil leases and things like that, they're just pumping the money into our enemies everywhere, Iran included. And, you know, behind the scenes, they're trying to work on this new deal with Iran. It's coming sooner than later. Hopefully we can get this group out of there before they get this done. But we live in dangerous times, not just in China and Taiwan, not just in Ukraine and Russia. But I think the biggest problem we're having right now is going to be in the Middle East, because it is very, very scary of what these people are doing. They can do a lot with the money that they just gave them, and again with the money they're making off oil and gas all over the world.
Yeah, that, by the way, is right. I mean, now the world oil price is closing in on $100 a barrel once again. That finances Iran. That also finances Vladimir Putin. And Joe Biden goes to Alaska and freezes drilling, and illegally, I might add, violating congressional mandates, legislation. And then he freezes a lot of the stuff in the Gulf of Mexico, which is also illegal because he's violating congressional mandates and legislation. He's just going hog wild. It's not exactly a dictatorship, but it sure is pretty heavy-duty central planning, wouldn't you say, Senator?
Well, you're exactly right. And again, it's not doing anything for the people in this country. As you just said, Gulf of Mexico is devastating to the people in the Gulf states. A lot of money was brought into all the states on the Gulf Coast. Now Alaska, they continue to pull permits from other places all over the country, but they'll sure do anything they possibly can for the people that have oil and gas anywhere else other than the United States. At $4 a gallon now in the state of Alabama, and it was, close to $2.60, 70 cents, maybe even less than that, somewhere around $2 when President Trump was in. Something's got to give. We can't run a country, we can't run anything without fossil fuels, but these crazies are going to try to do it, and that's the reason we got to get them out of office. If we don't, we're going to be in big trouble.
Senator, last one. This story that Secretary Mayorkas of DHS has lost count of 20% of the illegal migrants. Now, I'm going to say it's close to 100%, all right, but somehow he's using 20%. And by the way, the White House policy is to allow a lot of these illegals to have work permits. I'm not sure what that means. It's not exactly a green card. Work permits. We just had John Carney of Breitbart Economics telling that that's going to reduce wages for Native Americans. So they can't find them. I don't think they want to find them. Meanwhile, they're going to give them work permits. So how can you not find them, and how can you give them work permits at the same time? And who's going to be damaged by this is indigenous American citizens.
Yeah, and it's going to affect all the citizens across the country, Larry. It's devastating. People need to wake up and see what's going on. They're trying to hide it. Mayorkas has lost his mind. I've told him that and told him that in hearings. He doesn't know what he's doing, or he might know what he's doing. He's been told what to do. I've been on airplanes leaving out of McAllen, Texas, with illegals on the airplane given money, cell phones, cards to use in hotels all over the country, fly to anywhere they want. We are spending a fortune on these people, and we're dead broke. And they're coming across right and left. Our kids are dying from fentanyl, human trafficking going on. It is a disaster now, and it's going to even get worse. But these people don't care. They absolutely do not care what they're doing to the taxpayers and the citizens of this country. They're trying to bring us to a point where they can control everything that's going on through this illegal immigration.
Interesting. Senator Tommy Tuberville, as always, sir, thank you very much for your time.